Good afternoon, all the participants. On behalf of IRIFM Secunderabad, I extend warm welcome to you for online training program for 3A and LEC aspirants. This topic is labor laws. And to take up the session, we have Shri Nagaraja Rao. He is retired as senior DPO, senior CPO, senior deputy CPO, Southern Railway. Welcome, sir, and it's over to you to commence the session.
Thank you, Manal. Thank you. Good afternoon to all. I think you are able to hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Today, this is a new subject to Appendix 3 candidate examination. This is a new subject for Accounts Department staff. Earlier it was not there. Now in coming examinations, this subject is also included in your syllabus for Appendix 3 examination. This is labor laws are very important because we are dealing with not only with the machine and other things, we are dealing with the human beings also. So whenever the employees are working with us in any organization, so certain rules and regulations have to be followed in regard to their service matters. So in the scenario, these labor laws have been found by the central government. These are coming from since a very long time with many modifications they have come. There are nearly 6 to 7 labor laws are available. In that today we will discuss only 5 important labor laws. You might have heard about the labor laws. Among you, many people might have done LLB, they may be knowing all these things. But those who have not heard about this labor laws, what these labor laws are included. For those people, it is in simplified manner. I have prepared slides. Slides means it is like a notes. It is easily you can read and understand this. It is very simple. Let us take first Factories Act. So this Factories Act has come into effect in 1948. So 1948 means just before independence, just after the independence. So after that, many changes have come because the people you know very well, labor will be working in factories. So in olden days, we might have seen in films as well as in TVs as well as we might have. So in those days, this labor was exploited by the employer like anything. What they were doing, they were taking more work, and they were extracting. They were asking them to do more time or more work for longer hours, as well as they were not giving sufficient salaries also. No rest, no leave like that. It was there. Because after a lot of struggle by this labor and labor unions, finally these acts have come. The central government has made these acts. Let us see the Factories Act. What is this Factories Act? This act has come into effect from 1/4/1948. That is only for the date, because now we are going to answer all objective type questions, MCQ. Multiple choice questions you have to answer now. So that's why all the dates and numbers and other things are very important for you in the examination point of view. So this act has come into effect from 1/4/1948. Here, what is the factory? Which is called factory? What is the definition of the factory as per this Factories Act means? Where 10 or more workers are working in a manufacturing factory, working with the aid of the power. So this is the condition. So at least 10 or more number of persons should be working in the particular manufacturing unit. So it should be a manufacturing unit. More than 10 people, 10 or more people should be working there. And their prime job is manufacturing. And the factory, what is the place where they are working, the machines on which they are working, this should be aided by the power. Power means electricity. So such a place is called a factory. Suppose less than 10 people are there, it is not called factory. So suppose it is not with electricity, then how many people should be there? The second point you see, where 12 or more workers are working in a manufacturing factory without the aid of the power. So if without the aid of the power, that factory is functioning means that there should be more than 12, there should be 12 or more than 12 workers be working there. So then only it comes under factories, definition of the factories. So then only this Factories Act applicable to them. So factory means these are the two conditions compulsory to be fulfilled. This act applies to all railway workshops and the production units. As far as we railway employees are concerned, railway organization is concerned, railway department is concerned.
Sir.
About the workshops as well as production units. So you know we are having many workshops as well as production units.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
थोड़ा सर धीरे पढ़ाएंगे तो सबको समझ में आ जाएगा सर.
अच्छा, धीरे पढ़ाना है. ओके, ठीक है.
आप थोड़ा हिंदी में भी बोलेंगे सर बीच में.
बीच में हिंदी में भी बोलूंगा.
ठीक है. थैंक यू सर.
ओके, वेलकम. ये फैक्ट्री मीन्स ये फैक्ट्री ऐसा जगह है जहाँ 10 लोगों से ज्यादा लोग काम करना है और वो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का काम करना है और वो भी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से चलना है, उसके मशीन से इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से चलना है। सपोज वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से नहीं चल रहे, देन द टोटल नंबर ऑफ वर्कर्स 12 से ज्यादा होना है, तो जब भी उसे फैक्ट्री कहा जाएगा। सो अकॉर्डिंगली दिस फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट इज अप्लीकेबल टू देम, इसलिए ये फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट उनको अप्लाई होगा, नहीं तो नहीं लागू होगा उनको। दिस एक्ट अप्लाइज टू ऑल रेलवे वर्कशॉप्स एंड रेलवे प्रोडक्शन यूनिट्स। हमारे रेलवे वर्कशॉप को, हमारे रेलवे प्रोडक्शन यूनिट्स को ये एक्ट अप्लाई होगा। ये सेंट्रल एक्ट है, ये सेंट्रल एक्ट के रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस क्या है, इसमें कंडीशंस क्या है, ऑल दिस थिंग्स आर अप्लीकेबल टू आवर railway workshops as well as railway production units. This act does not apply to loco sheds and CNW departments. एक डाउट आएगा, हमारे रेलवे में लोको शेड्स है, इलेक्ट्रिकल लोको शेड, डीजल लोको शेड्स है, सिमिलरली CNW डिपार्टमेंट कैरेज एंड वैगन्स का डिपोज भी है। वेदर दिस फैक्ट्री है उसमें काम करने के लोगों को लागू होगा नहीं लागू होगा? ये आंसर है कि नहीं लागू होगा। ये लागू होगा ओनली वर्कशॉप्स एंड प्रोडक्शन यूनिट्स को लागू होगा। Loco sheds and CNW not applicable. It is not applicable to loco sheds and CNW departments. Here, worker means a person employed directly by the railway or through an agency, that is through contractor. ये कैसे लोगों को अप्लाई होगा? ये वर्कर, वर्कर माने कौन? कौन किसी को वर्कर कहते हैं? वर्कर means a person employed directly by the railway. So railway directly employ करना है, directly employ railway recruit करना है, वो लोगों को एंगेज करना है और एटलीस्ट थ्रू कॉन्ट्रैक्टर से एंगेज करना है, ऐसे लोगों को ये फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट अप्लाई होगा। द मेन एम ऑफ दिस एक्ट इज टू टेक केयर ऑफ द हेल्थ, सेफ्टी, वेलफेयर, आवर्स ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट, ओवर टाइम एक्सेट्रा ऑफ द लेबर वर्किंग इन द फैक्ट्री। ये फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट में क्या बोलता है? एम्प्लॉयज दैट वर्कर्स का हेल्थ के बारे में बोल रहा है, सेफ्टी के बारे में बोल रहा है, वेलफेयर के बारे में बोल रहा है और ओवर्स ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट, कितने घंटे काम करना है, कितना रेस्ट लेना है, वो भी बोल रहा है, और ओवर टाइम पेमेंट कुछ है क्या नहीं, ये बोल रहा है। सो दिस आर द मेन एम। सो द फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट मेन एम इज टू टेक केयर ऑफ द हेल्थ, सेफ्टी, वेलफेयर, ओवर्स ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड ओवर टाइम ऑफ लेबर वर्किंग इन द फैक्ट्रीज। सो इसी के बारे में बोल रहे हैं। So Factories Act is mainly for health, safety, welfare, hours of employment and overtime of the workers working in the factory. इसी के बारे में conditions रख रहा है Factories Act. So I think you are following me. It is the responsibility of the occupier of the factory to take care of all these things. It is the responsibility of the occupier. What is occupier? कौन है ये occupier? क्यों किसे बुला रहे हैं occupy करते हैं? Occupier is a person who is the overall in charge of the factory. उसे occupier बोल रहे हैं। Occupier means a person who has ultimate control over the affairs of the factory. जो आदमी पूरा फैक्ट्री का कंट्रोल है ना, उसके फैक्ट्री पे कंट्रोल रख रहे हैं ना, उसे ऑक्युपायर करेगा। सो उसका ड्यूटी होता है ये हेल्थ, सेफ्टी, वेलफेयर एंड हावर्स ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड ओवर टाइम का रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी देखना है एम्प्लॉयज का, उधर का वर्कर्स का। सो हेल्थ माने क्या है? व्हाट इज द हेल्थ एज पर दिस फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट? व्हाट इज द हेल्थ? हेल्थ क्या देखना है? फैक्ट्री बी केप्ट क्लीन ऑलवेज। ये फैक्ट्री एक्ट बोल रहा है भाई आप तो ओवरऑल इंचार्ज ऑफ दिस फैक्ट्री है, आपका फैक्ट्री कभी भी क्लीन रखना है। फैक्ट्री शुड बी केप्ट क्लीन ऑलवेज। फैक्ट्री एक्ट के मुताबिक ऑलवेज नीट एंड क्लीन। Occupation of the factory and waste items should be removed daily by sweeping. So every day sweeping should be there. Whatever dust is accumulated, whatever waste items are accumulated, those things are to be cleaned. That should be swept. झाड़ू मारना है every दिन। वो फैक्ट्री का प्रीमिसेस में जहाँ लोग काम कर रहे हैं ना, उधर कितना वेस्ट बाहर आएगा, कितना डस्ट भी बाहर आएगा, वो सब भी एवरी डे इट शुड बी क्लीन। वो देखना है, क्लीन करने का सहूलत करना है। सो कभी भी रहते फैक्ट्री में डस्ट नहीं रहना है, डस्टी नहीं रहना है, वेस्ट आइटम भी इधर उधर छिड़कना नहीं है। वही उनका मेन इंटेंशन ऑफ दिस आइटम नंबर 2। द वर्क प्लेस शुड बी क्लीन वंस इन ए वीक बाय यूजिंग डिसइंफेक्टेड केमिकल। every week इधर देखो ये 1 week करने का, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। 1 week every week the entire place of the work should be clean with disinfectant chemical. Chemical use करके उधर कुछ भी कीड़े मकोड़े नहीं आए जैसा देखना है, because there should not be any flies or mosquitoes, because all these things what will happen, it will cause the hazardous to the employee's health. So the workplace should be cleaned once in a week by using disinfectant chemical. Whitewashing and painting and varnishing should be done once in a 5 years. Every 5 years once पूरा whitewash करना है फैक्ट्री का all पूरा premises, and painting भी करना है, कहाँ varnishing करना है, that also should be done once in a 5 years. That is a very important point here. 5 years. Here 5 years is very important. Bit आएगा objective type में पूछेंगे कितने once in a how many years it is to be cleaned करके, it is to be whitewashed, it is to be varnished करके. So proper ventilation, lighting and fresh air circulation should be provided. जहाँ wherever the people are working, wherever the workers are working, there full lighting should be there. Lighting तो ज़्यादा रहना है. It should not be dark. It should be full lighting should be there. Fresh air circulation रहना है. So always fresh air circulation रहना है. Because otherwise what will happen? The worker who is working with the machine, he will inhale the whatever dust or whatever smoke is coming from the machines, that he will inhale, and accordingly his health will get damaged. So that's why proper ventilation, lighting and fresh air circulation should be provided. So it is the duty of the occupier. He has to see that all these things should be there. Sufficient exhaust appliances should be provided to prevent accumulation of dust and fume. Exhaust fans लगाना है. So जब ये धुआं आ रहा था ना, ये smoke आता है, so that should be sent out immediately. So exhaust fans, sufficient exhaust fans should be provided so that whatever dust is coming, whatever smoke is coming out of the machines, that should go out immediately, so that the worker who is working with the machines need not inhale that. So that like that his health can be saved. Overcrowding should not be there at workplace. ज़्यादा crowding नहीं रहना. Suppose एक बढ़िया एक छोटा सा hall में 10 to 15 people are asked to work at the machines, it is very difficult. So इसीलिए ज़्यादा crowding, overcrowding नहीं रहना है working के place के बारे में. 14.2 cubic meter space should be provided for every worker at workplace. So you have the occupier should see that every worker should be provided with the space of 14.2 cubic meters. उतना स्पेस देके उनको काम करने को दें, because movement will be there, he should be freely move, they should not touch each other. All those things he has to take care of. So these are the health important items. What are the important items that occupier has to see as far as health of the worker is concerned? Sufficient drinking water points should be provided with a clear visible indication. Sufficient drinking water points, taps, should be provided with a clear visible indication. That water should be there, and also clear visible indication that drinking water hai, cool drinking water is there. That those also should be provided in the factory. The point should not be within 6 meters of washing place or urinals. तो toilets लेंगे, washrooms लेंगे, उसके बाजू में drinking water facility नहीं रखना है. तो अपने 6 meter distance में ये drinking water का facility should be provided. So you should not be beside the urinals, you should not be beside the bathroom, you should not be within the washroom. So drinking water facility should be at least 6 meters away from the washing place and urinals. So वो बोल रहा है factory sector. It is the responsibility of the occupier to take care of this. Cool drinking water should be provided in hot weather if workers are more than 250. जहाँ total number of workers are more than 250 है, उधर cool drinking water should be provided in hot weather. It means summer. During summer season, cool drinking water should be provided for the workers where more than 250 people are working. Sufficient urinals and latrines should be provided at convenient places for male and female workers separately with the proper lighting, ventilation and water. So sufficient urinals as well as latrines also should be provided at a convenient place for male and female workers separately with the proper lighting and ventilation, as well as water भी provide करने का responsibility occupier का है. They should be kept clean and good sanitary condition at all the times. So whatever urinals as well as latrines and other things are provided for the use of the workers, that should be cleaned periodically, every day, morning, afternoon, evening, clean करते जाता रहना है, and also it should be, there should not be any bad smell or any accumulation of any dust in the urinals as well as bathrooms. Sufficient spit tools should be provided and maintained. स्पिट टूल्स प्रोवाइड करना है. स्पिट टूल्स ज्यादा लोगों को पान खाने का आदत रहेगा, स्पिट करते रहेंगे, सो दे नॉर्मली हम देखते रहेंगे उधर इधर, पीपल विल बी स्पिटिंग ऑन द वॉल्स, पीपल विल बी स्पिटिंग ऑन द स्टेयरकेसेस के वॉल्स पर स्पिट करते रहे, सो दैट शुड नॉट बी देयर. सो स्पिट टूल्स टब रखना है, एक बॉक्स रखना है, जो लोग जो पान खाते हैं, स्पिट करना चाहते हैं, थूकना चाहते हैं, वो लोग दे कैन यूज दैट, बिकॉज ऑल दिस थिंग्स आर टू बी मेंटेन्ड फॉर द sake of the health of the worker who is working in the active working place near the machines. So this is all about the health of the worker as per the Factories Act. Suppose the occupier is not arranging all these things, it means he is violating he is contravening the Factories Act provisions. So necessary action can be taken against him and he will be punished with imprisonment as well as with imposition of the fine also. Government will do that. So it is the responsibility of the occupier to take care of all these things. Then चलेंगे हम safety. Second item is the safety. Safety of the worker. क्या देखना है safety के बारे में? Fencing should be provided to machinery in factory. So कहाँ जो machines running में होते हैं ना, जो machines है, उधर fencing लगाना है. Fencing is very very important. So when the machine is working, if any worker goes nearer to the machine, so there is possibility that he may involve in an accident. He may lose his limbs, he may lose his hands, he may lose his fingers, he may lose his legs like that. So fencing should be provided. Every new machine के बारे में nearby that fencing have to be provided as per this Factories Act. No child or woman worker should be allowed in factory for cleaning, lubricating of the machines. So children तो कैसा भी में engage नहीं करेंगे. Women workers should not be allowed to go nearer to the machines for cleaning of the machines or lubricating the machines. That should not be done. It should be done only by the male employees because of their dress. The ladies का dress and gents का dress ज़्यादा different रहेगा. इसीलिए there is possibility that these people may accidentally come in between the machines. That's why such ladies should not be allowed to go for cleaning and lubricating the machines. Proper devices for cutting the power in emergency should be provided and maintained. In case of any emergency, in case of any accident हो गया, immediately power cut होना है. Power cut करने से क्या हो जाएगा? Machines बंद हो जाएगी. So उसीलिए power cut का facility रखना है. So proper devices for cutting the power in emergency should be provided and it is to be maintained. Not only provision, it should be maintained also. Provide करके छोड़ना नहीं, उसे maintain करते रहना periodically. So by doing this, we can take care of the safety of the workers. Lifts, cranes in factories should be inspected periodically and kept them in good working condition. So जो lifts रहेंगे, lifts means हमें चलने का जाने आने के lifts में, so वो weight उठाने के machines रहते हैं ना, lifting machines, cranes in factories should be inspected periodically inspect करना है and they should be kept in good working condition. Otherwise, what will happen if they are not properly maintained? Then what will happen? There is possibility that there may be an accident and worker may get hurt or sometimes they may die also. All types of safety gadgets should be provided to the worker to prevent injuries. So workers को all type of safety gadgets, helmet देना है, gloves देना है, और those who are working welding कर रहे हैं ना, उनको goggles देना है, and many other shoes देना है. All these things have to be provided to the workers as per the norms prescribed by the concerned authorities. So all these safety gadgets should be provided to the worker to prevent them from coming in, to prevent them from injuries. So ये सभी provide करने का responsibility factory in charge का है. ये safety officer should be appointed. A safety officer should be appointed to oversee the safety works. All these works देखने के लिए safety officer should be provided in the factory. So उनका responsibility होता है. All these things he has to periodically inspect and see that they should be in working condition always. So by doing this, we can avoid accidents to the workers in the factory. Then चलेंगे हमें welfare में. Welfare में क्या देख रहे हैं? क्या what is the welfare of the worker? कैसा देखना है welfare of the worker? Washing, drying, storing of clothes facilities should be provided to the workers. So जो worker काम कर रहा है, so when morning he comes to the workshop, so naturally what will come, he will change his dress, whether male worker or female worker, they will change the dress, they will wear the uniforms. So for doing that, separate rooms should be provided to them, and when they are working, so their dress may get spoiled, so then they may go for washing with them. So washing facility also should be provided, hand wash करने के लिए, clothes wash करने के लिए, फैक्ट्री में एक separate place रहना है उनको, with full water and detergent, soaps and other things should be provided, and also सुखाने के लिए, drying के लिए some provision should be made, as well as storing the clothes, whatever clothes they are coming in from the home with a normal civil dress, after coming here they will shift it to the uniform, so they have to store their clothes, personal clothes, so उसे storing के लिए एक provision करना है. So this comes under the welfare of the worker. If number of workers are more than 250 in the particular factory, canteen should be provided and maintained on no loss, no profit basis. So a canteen रहना है, canteen wherever more than 200 to 250 workers are there in the factory, canteen should be compulsorily maintained, and also the canteen should be run with no loss, no profit basis में चलाना है. If number of workers are more than 150 से ज़्यादा workers है तो ये lunch room should be provided with a drinking water facility. ये lunch room भी उनको provide करना है, झाड़ों के नीचे बैठने का, वरांडा में बैठ के खाना खाने का. It is not like that. Separate lunch room should be provided with proper furniture. With proper furniture it should be provided. Lighting रहना है, fans रहना है उसमें, और the hand wash provision रहना है, drinking water का provision रहना है. All these things in charge of the factory should be he should provide. He should provide. Then, if number of women workers are more than 30, crèche should be, crèche for children below 60 years should be provided. Should be provided. बच्चों के लिए mother will be there. उनके child रहेगा below 6 years old. वैसे बच्चों को घर के पास छोड़ के आने का नहीं होता. It is not possible to leave the children at home and come if the elders are not there. So they may bring their children to the workplace. So once they bring them here, at least to take care of those children, the crèche should be provided under the guidance, under the supervision of one trained ayah, under the supervision of one trained ayah. What that ayah will do, till such time the mother comes back from the work, the ayah will take care of the children, everything, feeding, reading, everything that ayah will take care of. That ayah also should be, trained ayah should be there. So this is to be provided in the factory premises only, not far away. Because whenever mother wants to come and see the child, she should come and see the child and go back to the work. So this is also to be provided. This is one of the welfare items. Then first aid appliances at the rate of 1 per 150 workers to be provided. First aid boxes as well as first aid appliances are there. Wherever 150 workers are there, more than 150 workers are there, one box should be provided. Similarly, ambulance room, for one ambulance room, for 500 workers should be provided. Wherever 500 and above workers are there, one ambulance room should be provided. Ambulance room किसी के लिए in case of any emergency, immediately उनको treatment देने के लिए, till such time they are shifted to the hospital, immediately ambulance room should be provided. Okay. So these are in case of any accident, especially in our railway workshops as well as production units, immediately railway doctor should be informed so that he can come and shift the patient to the hospital for further treatment. This such a first aid should be given. So that's why each and every worker in the factory should be trained in the first aid, in giving first aid to the injured persons. If number of workers are more than 500, a welfare officer should be provided. A welfare officer should be posted. A welfare officer should be posted there to take care of the welfare items, welfare matters of the workers. So this is what Factories Act is telling. It is a responsibility of the owner of the factory or in charge of the factory to see all these things. Then coming to working hours and overtime. Working hours and overtime के बारे में what Factories Act is telling. Not more than 9 hours in a day or 48 hours in a week. A worker should not work more than 9 hours in a day or 48 hours in a week. That is the limit, working limit. Per day में 9 hours काम करना है, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं काम करना है, and 48 hours in a week. In case it is not possible, let me at least weekly once we have to calculate and see that he should not work, he or she should not work for more than 48 hours in a week. Daily working hours should not exceed 5 hours at a stretch. Though 9 hours are there, at a stretch, 5 hours work should not be given. We should not ask them to work continuously for more than 5 hours. There should be at least a half an hour break we have to give in the factory to the workers. In exceptional circumstances, in exceptional cases, the daily working hours can be more than 9 hours, but it should not go beyond 10.5 hours. That is also one of the conditions in this Factories Act. Sometimes what will happen, we may ask because काम ज़्यादा रहेगा, urgent है काम करने complete करने का. So we can ask the worker to work beyond 9 hours, but it should not go beyond 10.5 hours. That is also. Then women workers should not be employed for more than 9 hours in a day. So female workers रहे तो उनके पास we should not ask them to work beyond 9 hours. 9 hours is sufficient for them. They should not be utilized beyond 9 hours. Women workers should not be employed between evening 7 p.m. to next day morning 6 a.m. Women, female employees to female workers to we should not utilize them for work between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. So इस week में उनको काम नहीं देना है. Sunday should be the weekly holiday. So every worker should be given a rest day, that is holiday, that is on Sunday. Sunday factory band or all people should take rest on Sunday. If the worker works on Sunday, rest should be given within 3 days thereafter. Suppose due to some reason we have asked the worker to work on Sunday also means, then within next 3 days, that is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that person should be given that foregone the rest. Whatever rest he has foregone, that rest should be given immediately within 3 days. Workers should not be employed continuously for more than 10 hours, 10 days. So without giving rest, weekly rest, a worker should not be asked to work beyond 10 days continuously. Compulsory within 10 days, it will rest aana chahiye. Every Sunday rest should be given. Due to some reasons, if we are asking the worker to work for more than 10 days, that should not correct. We have to restrict it only for the 10 days. If any worker is employed for more than 9 hours in a day or more than 40 hours in a week, additional pay should be given for overtime work. So we have to give overtime pay to the worker if he works for more than 9 hours in a day or 48 hours in a week. We have to give additional pay to him. That additional pay, how we will calculate it? 2 times of the ordinary rate of pay. It should be the twice of the ordinary rate of the pay. So pay means pay, DNS pay and DA or HRA. All these things, pay plus DP plus DA plus HRA. All these things put together is a pay for the purpose of calculation of overtime always. So these are the important items as far as working and overtime. So here many numbers are there. All these numbers you have to remember to answer these questions in the examination, because this is the first time this subject has been included in the syllabus. So you will get all these questions easily. You can answer this. The only thing is you have to remember all these numbers and other things. So here I have prepared some multiple choice question on the Factories Act. In which year did Factories Act has come into effect? In 48 it has come. The aim of the Factories Act is to take care of the workers' health or safety or welfare or all of the above. All the above. Factories Act is applicable to whom? Railway diesel loco sheds, railway electrical loco sheds, railway CNW depots, railway workshops and production.
All of them.
It is a D. All of them. Diesel loco sheds as well as electrical loco sheds and CNW depots to Factories Act apply nahi hoga. That's why A, B, C is not correct. D is the correct. As per Factories Act, accumulation of dust and waste items will be removed by daily, weekly, fortnightly, or monthly. So it is daily. So daily it is to be. Like that, I have given nearly 21 questions I have prepared. 21 questions I have prepared. Certainly you will get some questions on this. Okay. You please read whatever questions also. It will be easy for you to understand all these things. All about the Factories Act. Any doubt on Factories Act? Any doubt on Factories Act?
हेलो हाँ सर नमस्ते सर ये फैक्ट्री में कंडीशन में फैक्ट्री एक्ट में पीएच ग्रेड के लिए कोई प्रोविजन नहीं है
डिस्टर्बेंस आ रहा है कुछ
हेलो
देखिए जरा somebody is talking. I'm not able to clearly understand what you are telling.
हाँ, एक्सक्यूज मी सर।
हाँ
सर फैक्ट्री एक्ट 1948 में
हाँ
पीएच कैंडिडेट के लिए प्रोविजन नहीं है क्या?
It is there. PH category. Normally, factories में whenever we are recruiting the people in the factory, this only the medically those who are fit, they only will be engaged. And also PH candidates, certain posts are there in the factories as well as in our workshops also. Such people, they will be given the posting which they can do the work.
अच्छा, ओके ओके सर।
Next, Payment of Wages Act. Payment of Wages Act. By reading the name itself, you can see that it is telling about the payment to the workers. So, what are the rules for the payment of the wages to the workers? So, this act. So, the act means compulsorily whatever provisions are there in the act should be followed compulsorily. If we are not following these provisions, certainly there will be a court case against us, and we have to appear before the labor court, and the labor court may impose the punishment as well as fine also to the responsible person. So that's why it is the responsibility of each and every in charge of the factory as workshop. They should know all these things and they have to follow these instructions strictly. Payment of Wages Act. This act has come in 1936, that is prior to our independence. Subsequently, many changes have come. Now, as per the latest changes, let us see what the present act is. Object of the act. The act aims at a prompt and regular payment of wages without any arbitrary deductions to certain class of persons whose wages are not more than 24,000 rupees per month, employed in industrial establishment, including railway, either directly or through subcontract. ये है उसका object. The act aims at a prompt and regular payment of wages. Prompt and regular payment of wages देना है. Prompt regular payment of wages देना है. Without any arbitrary deductions. So we should not make deductions as we like. Arbitrarily, we should not deduct any amount from the wages to certain class of persons. Certain class of persons means whose wages are not more than 24,000 rupees per month. Employed in industrial establishment, including railway, either directly or through subcontract. So हमारे पास all you and all other employees who are recruited in railways and to whom the 70 pay commission rules are applicable. For them, this is the payment of wages act is not applicable. But in our railway, there are certain types of employees. We are engaging them through contractor. For those people, it is applicable. Though the contractor is responsible in payment of wages to those employees, but as a prime employer, it is our responsibility to see that whether the contractor is properly paying the wages to the employees engaged for railway work or not. It is our responsibility to see. Suppose tomorrow, if the contractor is not following these provisions of this act, we are also answerable to that before the court. Court will question us also. So that's why we railway officials always we have to see all these things whether the contractor is properly following these provisions of the act or not. We have to see. Wages. Here, wages money. What is the meaning of the wages as per this act? Wages mean all types of remunerations expressed in terms of money which is payable to the employee for doing the work. So whatever remuneration we are paying, we are means that on behalf of us, some contractor is paying to the worker who is doing the regular work. So the remuneration should be expressed in terms of money. It should not be in terms of any kind. So पैसों के बारे में देना, whatever remuneration he is giving, it should be in terms of rupees, not in terms of any cash. I will give rice, I will give dal. It is not like that. It should be in terms of money, which is payable to the employer persons for doing the work. It does not include TA, concession value of the housing accommodation, or any contribution paid to any pension or PF or terminal gratuity. So here wages means only that only. What is that? The remuneration, what is paid to the employee for doing the work. All of the things, TA is the traveling allowance, concession value of the housing accommodation, or any contribution to the pension, PF, terminal, they don't come under the definition of the wages as per this act. Wage period. So wage period. As per this act, the employer should fix the wage period which shall not exceed 1 month in any case. So wage period is fixed by act. The employer should fix the wage period. Either it may be weekly payment, or it may be fortnightly payment, or it may be 1 month payment. But it should not go beyond that. So employer cannot say to the worker that I will give salary only 6 months once. No, it is not permissible as per Payment of Wages Act. As per Payment of Wages Act, the wage period should not be beyond 30 days. Within 30 days only, the payment should be given to the employer. That is, wage period should be fixed. Accordingly, the payment should be given to the worker. Mode of payment. Paisa dena hai payment. How the payment is to be made to the worker. That is also the Act says. As per this Act, mode of payment should be as under. Wages should be paid only on working day. So whatever wages are to be paid to the worker for that particular month or particular fortnight or particular week, it should be paid only on working day, not on holiday. Sunday is the holiday for the workers naturally. So we cannot ask the worker to come on Sunday and take the salary. No, it is not like that. It should be paid only on the working day. All wages should be paid in present currency and not in the kind. So we have to pay only in terms of money, currency, not in terms of the kind, any kind. Wages should be paid within 7 days of expiry of the wage period where number of workers are less than 1,000. Jahan number of workers are less than 1,000, the payment should be made within 7 days after the wage period. Suppose wage period is the 1st to 30th of this month, then that month's salary should be given to the wages should be given to the worker within 7 days of the next month, first 7 days of the next month. Suppose the number of employees are more than 1,000, it should be paid within 10 days, not beyond that. More than 10,000 employees later, it should be given within 10 days of the next month, followed by that wage period. If the employment of any worker is terminated by the employer, due wages will be paid to him within 2 days. Within 2 days. Suppose due to some reason, the employment of the worker is terminated because उनका काम जरूर ने terminate किए उनके services. So immediately second day के अंदर whatever due wages are there to him, that is to be paid to him. Because he is terminated, you come next month, you come after 4 months like that to take your dues. No, the due wages should be given before expiry of the second working day. This is the mode of the payment. As per this Act. Fines. Fine means sometimes the worker पे fine भी impose करने का वर्ष इसमें दिया गया है employer को. So employer can impose fines on the worker as per this Act. What fines? What type of fines he can impose? Fine can be imposed only in respect of acts and omissions committed by the worker. Some acts and omissions will be there. Suppose he has committed some mischief or some misdeed. So वैसे acts पे और omissions जो काम करना था वो नहीं किया. So इसीलिए he can impose the fine on the worker. That fine should be in terms of money that should be deducted from the wages paid to the employee. List of such acts and omissions should be notified to the worker and also displayed at the workplace. So worker को जानकारी रहना है which is the act he can do, which are the acts he cannot do, what are the omissions, which are the things he should not omit. All those things should be known. It is to be known to the employee well in advance so that it is to be displayed at workplace. No fine should be imposed without giving show cause notice. So before imposing the fine on the worker, a show cause notice should be given to the worker and call for his explanation. So his explanation after देखने के बाद, then he can go finally decide to impose the fine on the worker. Without issuing the show cause notice, straight away fine imposed करने is not permissible as per this Act. Fine cannot be imposed after 90 days from the date of the offence. Suppose any worker has committed any offence, any misdeed, or he has omitted something to do. So that fine should be imposed within 90 days of that offence. Beyond 90 days, no action can be taken against that worker. The fine amount in a wage period should not exceed 3% of the wages. As per this Act, whatever fine he is imposing in that particular wage period should not go beyond 3% of the wages. Suppose employees' wages are 10,000 rupees, means 3% of the 10,000 only can be imposed as a fine maximum. So beyond that, fine should not be imposed. That is also one of the provisions in this Act. All fines recorded should be used for the benefit of the workers only by crediting it to staff benefit fund. whatever fines are recorded from the salary, from the wages of the employer, the worker, that should be utilized only for the benefit of the worker. It will not go to the pocket of the employer. It will be utilized only for the benefit of the workers by crediting it to the staff benefit fund. So it means in every organization, the staff benefit fund should be there. Whenever any fines are imposed on the worker, that fine amount should be credited to this SPF and that should be utilized for the benefit of the workers. अब देखेंगे what are the list of acts and omissions. क्यों फाइन इम्पोज कर रहे हैं? Disregard or disobedience of orders. Disregard or disobedience. कुछ order दिया गया है. It is the duty of the worker to follow. If is not following it, then fine can be imposed. Insubordination and breach of discipline. Insubordination. Subordination means supervisor is there. So under him, these people are working. And now supervisor is giving any work, he has to obey and do the work. If he is not doing that work, it comes under the insubordination. So that's why insubordination or breach of discipline. So every worker should maintain a discipline, a type of discipline he has to maintain. Suppose he is not maintaining the discipline, he is indisciplined at the workplace, then also this fine can be imposed. Late or irregular attendance. Late आने का, irregularity activity आने का, then all these things what will happen? It will cause unnecessary production कम हो जाएगा. People coming late and they are irregularly coming to the workplace. All these things unnecessarily reduce the production. So that's why late and irregular attendance के लिए fine impose करने का permission है under this act. So fine impose करने से क्या होगा? That person will be alert. Next time he will not come late or he will not be irregular in his duties. Improper behavior such as drunken, quarreling, and sleeping on duty. So improper behavior of drunkenness. So intoxicating drinks लेके आने का and quarreling with the co-workers and sleeping on duty. All these things should not do. That worker should not do. If he does it, then the fine can be imposed. And causing inconvenience to the public. Suppose he is causing any inconvenience to the public by his acts, then also fine can be imposed. Malingering. Malingering means without doing any work, moving here and there. घूमते रहेगा, काम नहीं करेगा, घूमते रहेगा, इधर फैक्ट्री में घूमते रहेगा. So ऐसे malingering में there also the fine can be imposed on the worker. Failure to observe rules and regulations not involving more severe disciplinary action. Suppose छोटे-छोटे गलत कर रहा है. It is not a serious misconduct. छोटे-छोटे गलती कर रहा है. So for that also fines can be imposed. Small mistakes को fines can be imposed. Causing loss to the property of the employer. So employer का property factory में कुछ loss किया है due to negligence, due to breach of orders. Then also the fine can be imposed on the worker. That fine can be recovered from his wages. So these are the list of acts and omissions as per this Act Payment of Wages Act में बोला जाएगा. Deductions permissible from it. What type of deductions we can permit from the wage? So we are telling that wages should be given, wage period should be fixed, and it is to be paid on working day only. All these things we are told. Then any deduction can be made from the wages. Fines can be deducted. For fines, what for acts and omissions के लिए. So that acts and omissions also we have seen what are those things. Other than this, some deductions also can be made from the wages of the worker. What are they? They are the fines. We know that fine we can recover. Deduction on account of unauthorized absence. Suppose the employee is absenting. Out of 30 days, he is attending the work only for 25 days. For 5 days, no salary will be there. The salary shall be deducted from the total salary. Loss or damage caused to the employer's property. Any loss or damage caused to the employer's property, that value of the cost of that loss also can be recovered from the wages of the employee. Value of amenities, services provided to the worker by the employer. कुछ employer कुछ amenities and services provide किया है. So for that also certain amount can be recovered from the wages of the worker. Rent for housing accommodation provided to the worker by the employer. So employer कुछ rent free accommodation provide किया गया है worker. So उसका rent भी recover कर सकेगा from wages. Adjustment of overpayments. कुछ overpayments हुए हैं employer को that worker को by mistake. So overpayments also can be recovered from the wages of this month. Recovery of advances taken by the worker. Suppose worker, if there is a provision in the factory or in the company to take advance, that advance amount can be recovered from the wages by the employer. income tax, कुछ income tax बन पे करने का है, other taxes पे करने का है worker, that income tax amount or other taxes also can be reported from the wages of the worker. So these are the authorized deductions can be made from the wages of the worker as per this Payment of Wages Act. Deductions ordered by the courts. Sometimes courts may give order to the employer to recover some amount from the employer's wages, that worker's wages. How it happens? For example, I will tell you one thing. A worker, he has taken loan of 10,000 rupees from a money lender outside. He has given a promissory note and taken the loan from him. And he has failed to repay that 10,000 rupees to the money lender. Then money lender, what he will do? He will go to the court. He will go to the court and will get the injunction order. In the court will say that employer to Tcga order, certain amount you recover from the wages of that worker and deposit with the court so that the amount can be given to the money lender. So when such court order comes to the employer, it is a duty of the employer to honor the court's orders and deduct that amount from the wages of the worker and send it to the court. It will not be sent directly to the money lender, it will be sent to the court. So court in turn will pay to the money lender. So such if any order is there, that order should be honored by the employer and that amount can be deducted from the wages of the worker. PF subscriptions, recovery of PF advance, if any. Suppose PF account is there for the employee. PF subscription, anything is there that can be recorded, as well as if he has taken any advance from the provident fund account, that advance amount also can be recorded in easy installments. That can be recorded from the wages. Deduction for payment of state or central cooperative credit facilities. Suppose sometimes they say state or central cooperative credit society. Credit society means it is a bank like. Credit society will be there for the employees. Employees, they themselves may form a bank like, and from that they will make every month they will be depositing some amount, and whenever they want they can take some amount as a loan and repay it. That is a credit cooperative society registered with the state government or central government will be there. Suppose the employee, the worker has taken any loan from the credit cooperative society. So whatever amount he has to pay monthly, that amount can be deducted from the wages of the employee with his consent, and it can be paid to the credit cooperative society. LIC premium. Suppose the employee see that a worker is he's a policy holder. He can whatever premium amount he has to pay to the policy on his consent or on his request, it can be deducted from the wages of the employee, that worker, and it can be given to the LIC organization. Total deduction should not exceed 75% of wages if deductions for payment of cooperative society are involved. The total deduction should not be more than 75% of the total wages. If some amount is to be paid to the cooperative societies. If no amount is to be paid to the cooperative societies, the total deduction should not go beyond 50% of the wages of that particular month. So that is the condition. That is also condition as per this Payment of Wages Act. So this should be compulsorily followed by the employer. And the employer's obligation was that the following notices should be executed, displayed in the working place. What are the abstract of the act? So whatever act is there, original act is there, their act is there, that act copy should be executed or displayed at the workplace on the notice board. Notice of wait period. Wait period kya hai? That also he should execute on the notice board. And the date of payment, when the payment will be there, when the payment of wages will be made, that also he has to indicate on the notice board. List of acts and omissions, that also he has to indicate for the sake of for the benefit of the employees, so that they can read and accordingly they can behave themselves. That should be in English, Hindi, and a regional language. The breach of act, penalty is imposed on the person responsible for payment of wages. For any act, if the responsible person is not adhering to the provisions in the act, he will be punished. He will be punished. That may be imprisonment as well as the fine, or it may be only fine also. So this is all about the important points in the Payment of Wages Act. So on this, I have prepared some multiple choice questions. Payment of Wages Act applies to the persons whose wages are not more than 34,000 rupees. It is like that. Already I have given the answer also against the question. So you please read it. You can remember this. Whenever any question comes on this, you can easily answer these questions. Okay. So this is all about the Payment of Wages Act. Anybody is having any doubt on the Payment of Wages? The Act means I am telling very in simplified manner, because this, if you take, we can tell all this for hours together also. Act is very big act. Lot of court cases are there, Supreme Court judgments also there. How interpretation, for everything interpretation will be there. Many cases are there. So if we full day also we can tell on this particular act, because it is only initial stage we are having, and also it's only in the syllabus. What is required for you, that I have picked up and prepared for examination point of view. So if you want to read the act means, you can open in the Google and go through the sections. There are many sections. In each act, nearly 30-40 sections will be there. You read each section, you can understand also, and also rules also will be there. In followed by the act, rules also will be there on that. The rules also you can read it. But for examination point of view, in my opinion, this is sufficient. And also time is very limited, because we are having 1 hour 45 minutes. We have to cover all these 5-6 acts, you know? So that's why concisely I am telling you, as well as I prepared the notes like that. I have prepared important questions. Even for the LLB students also, these types of questions only will come. So other than that, no questions will come. Okay. Anybody is having any doubt on the payment of wages act, you please ask me. Otherwise, let us go to the next act.
सर एक्ट एंड ओमिशन के बारे में बता दीजिए दोबारा सर।
एक्ट मीन्स जो काम करना है नहीं करना है वो बताता है। एक्ट मीन्स जो काम करना है, तुम्हें ऐसा बिहेव करना है, ऐसा बिहेव नहीं करना है, ये काम करना है, ये काम नहीं करना है। दैट इज, फॉर एग्जांपल मैं बोला ना, पी के इंटॉक्सिकेटेड, दारू पी के नौकरी को आना, ड्यूटी को आना, दैट इज नॉट करेक्ट, दैट इज एक्ट। व्हाट इज दिस एक्ट? इंटॉक्सिकेशन ड्रिंक्स लेके, लिकर लेके ड्यूटी को आ रहा है, दैट इज नॉट करेक्ट, दैट इज नॉट गुड एक्ट।
यस। और ओमिशन सर, ओमिशन ओमिशन ओमिशन
ओमिशन ओमिशन तो ऐसा है, ओमिशन तो ऐसा है। फॉर एग्जांपल एक छोटा एग्जांपल आपको इजी से मालूम होने के लिए, सो वी हैव प्रोवाइडेड यूरिनस प्रोवाइड किया है। सो एनी एम्प्लॉय वांट्स टू गो फॉर द यूरिनस के जाना है, दे हैव टू गो टू द यूरिनस, दे हैव टू यूज द ओनली दैट बाथरूम वॉशरूम ओनली ही हैज टू यूज। Instead of that, he is going and standing against the wall and there he is urinating means that is omission हो गया। rule follow होना है। You are not following the rule means it is omission of the rule।
थैंक यू सर।
Let us go to the next, another important act, Employees Compensation Act। Employees Compensation Act। Earlier इसे हमें बुलाते थे Workmen Compensation Act, WCA बुलाते थे। अब उसका नाम चेंज हो जाके Employees Compensation Act। What is the main aim of this act? The main aim of this act is payment of compensation by the employers to their workmen employed in industrial establishment, including railways, in case of personal injury caused due to accident arising out of and in the course of employment with the result of death, or becomes disabled or more than 3 days. So इतने conditions रखा गया है definition में। See, let us see what are the various conditions for this act. Payment of compensation can be paid by the employer. Who has to pay the compensation? Employer should pay the compensation. To whom he has to pay? He has to pay to the workman. He has to pay to the workman. Employed in the industrial establishment. Industrial establishment जो employer की appointment यहाँ है उसे देना है, including railways में। In case of personal injury bodily injury, कुछ इंजुरी होना है बॉडी पे, caused due to accident, वो इंजुरी भी कैसे होना है? एक्सीडेंट से होना है। वो जो नौकरी कर रहा है ना, वो नौकरी करने से वो एक्सीडेंट हो के एक्सीडेंट से इंजुरी होना है। अराइजिंग आउट ऑफ एंड इन द कोर्स ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट, वो इंजुरी वो काम करते ही आना है, होना है, और ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ द एम्प्लॉयमेंट, जो काम करते वक्त होना है, इट शुड बी इन द कोर्स ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट with the result of death. What that injury should result in death, or it should become disablement. Disable हो जाना है, वो ये वर्कर disable में कुछ काम का नहीं हो जाएगा, हाथ कट हो जाएगा, पाँव कट हो जाएगा, कुछ काम नहीं कर सकेगा, वैसा होना है। That is at least for a period of 3 days. वो इंजुरी उनको डिसेबल करेगा for more than 3 days. Then only this compensation will be paid to the employee. So workman compensation, that is the Employees Compensation Act में the condition is like that. Employer should pay to the worker for the personal injury due to accident arising out of and in the course of employment which results in death, or body disablement, body disablement for more than 3 days. These are the conditions should be present for payment of the compensation under this Act, Employees Compensation Act. इसीलिए any claim आ गया हमारे पास compensation के लिए, first of all we have to see all these conditions are fulfilled in that or not. If any condition is not fulfilled in that, we can certainly say that you are not eligible for compensation. The compensation is also paid for disabilities or death caused due to occupational diseases specified in the Schedule 3 of the Act. So occupational diseases, it may not be injury, bodily injury नहीं दिखेगा, लेकिन occupational diseases हो जाएगा. Occupational disease कैसा आएगा? ये जो सपोज फैक्ट्री में काम करते करते वो केमिकल का स्मेल देख के सो उनका हेल्थ खराब हो जाएगा, he may lose his health and on account of that it may cause death also. So body पर कुछ भी injury नहीं दिखेगा, so no injury will be there on the body, but employee will die or employee will cripple, he may get crippled, so कुछ काम का नहीं हो जाएगा. So this is the reason. So that's why occupational diseases also comes under this compensation के लिए eligibility हो जाएगा. This Act, what are those occupational diseases? Occupational diseases are already listed in Schedule 3 of the Act. This Act is having certain schedules at the end of the Act. In that Schedule 3, what are the occupational diseases? बताया गया है. This Act applies to the railway employees as defined in Clause 34 of Section 2 of Indian Railways Act, except to those permanently employed in any administrative or district or divisional offices and not employed in any such capacity as specified in Schedule 2 of the Act. So, a Act only for the railway employees who are defined as an employee, railway employees in Clause 34 of Section 2 of the Indian Railways Act. These people only they are eligible for compensation under Employees Compensation Act. So, who is the employee? Already it is defined in Indian Railways Act in Clause 34 of the Section 2. According to that, the employees who are working in administrative offices or divisional officers, they are not eligible for compensation under this Act. Suppose a clerk he is not eligible for compensation under this Act. Suppose a typist is there. Now, another typist or not, steno is there, peon is there in the administrative office, in the headquarters office or in the divisional office, they are not eligible for compensation for this under this Compensation Act. According to this Act, the disabilities, disablements, these disablements are different types. According to this Act, disablement different types में रहेंगे. What are they means? Kinds of disablements and compensation. ये देखेंगे. What are the kinds of disablements and compensation? Disablements are two types. According to this Act, this disablement are two types. One is total disablement, another is partial disablement. Total disablement and partial disablement. These may be either permanent in nature or temporary in nature. So this permanent, total disablement permanent भी रहेगा और temporary भी रहेगा. Partial disablement it may be permanent or it may be temporary. So disablement are two types, that is total disablement and partial disablement. This total disablement or partial disablement may be permanent or it may be temporary. Permanent total disablement means this incapacitates a workman for all the work which he was capable of performing at the time of accident. So this incapacitates a workman for all the work which he was capable of performing at the time of accident. So when the employee met with an accident, so at that time he was capable of doing certain works. So this total disablement makes him disabled and he will not be in a position to do that work in future. So that is called total disablement. Earlier he was capable of doing the work, that particular work, all the works related to the work, all the works are related to his work. And after this accident, after this disablement, he may not be in a position to do all those works. Such disablement is called permanent total disablement. The amount of compensation is equal to 60% of monthly wages multiplied by the relevant factor or an amount of 1,40,000 rupees, whichever is higher. Suppose this type of permanent total disablement happens to any worker, then the compensation amount will be 60% of the monthly wages multiplied by the relevant factor. Relevant factor means depends upon the age of the employee. Government has fixed the factor. A factor fixed here, number is fixed here. O number C, the 60% of the wages are to be multiplied, and that amount is to be compared with 1,40,000 rupees, and whichever is more, that is to be given as a compensation to the worker. So that is for the total permanent total disablement. So it is a permanent partial disablement. Permanent partial disablement. Partial means it is not total, it is partial. Permanent partial disablement हो गया. What is the permanent partial disablement? This reduces the earning capacity of the workman in every kind of work which he was capable of doing at the time of accident. So this reduces the earning capacity. It is not totally incapacitate करने रहा है. It is reducing the earning capacity of the workman. Reducing. He can earn, but the earning capacity थोड़ा reduce हो गया. Capacity of the workman in every kind of work which he was capable of doing at the time of accident. The amount of compensation in such cases is equal to 60% of the monthly wages multiplied by the relevant factor depending upon the age and further multiplied by the percentage of loss of earning capacity as shown in part 2 of the Schedule 1 of the Act. Depend. A says 60% of the wages multiplied by the relevant factor depending upon the age and further multiplied by the percentage of loss. Percentage of loss कैसा बनाएंगे? Suppose the employee has lost his 5 fingers or 1 hand or 1 eye or 1 leg or 2 hands. So he is losing some limbs from his body. So then what is the percentage of loss that is shown in the part 2 of the Schedule 1 of the Act? Many things they have shown. Accordingly, that percentage will be taken into consideration. With that, it is to be multiplied. So that is the way how we calculate the compensation in case of permanent partial disablement. 60% of wages multiplied by the factor depending upon the age and further multiplied by the loss of earning capacity as shown in the part 2 of the Schedule 1 of the Act. If more injuries are caused by the same accident, then how to pay? एक हाथ चले गया, एक आंख चले गया, एक पाँव चले गया. So there are 3 injuries. He lost 1 eye, he lost 1 hand, and 1 leg also he lost while performing the duties. Then how we have to calculate? 1 eye has gone means certain percentage of loss. 1 hand has gone means certain percentage of loss, and 1 leg has gone means certain percentage of loss. So तीनों कुल मिलाए तो 3, 1, 2, 3. वो 10%, 50%, 10%, 20%. Like that it will be calculated. So then the aggregate amount what we have to pay to the employee should not be more than the compensation payable under permanent total disablement. That is the condition. So this is it. Permanent partial disablement and permanent total disablement. It depends upon the injury what the employee has got and how he has become disabled and what is the loss of earning capacity. Temporary disablement. It may be either total or partial. This reduces the earning capacity of the workman for a temporary period. So a temporary period, his earning capacity will be lost. After taking treatment, after some time, again he will gain his earning capacity. अच्छा ठीक हो जाएगा. So that is a small injury. So initially for some time, he may not be in a position to perform the duties, and after taking treatment, he may come back and he can start doing the work, same work what he was doing earlier. So that is called temporary disablement. During this period, the workman will be paid compensation at the rate of half monthly payment of the sum equivalent to 25% of monthly wages as compensation. Yeah, as long as he is taking treatment for the injury for that period, every month 25% of the monthly wages will be given as compensation. This is in addition to his pay and allowances. In addition to his pay and allowances, he should be given compensation at the rate of 25% of the monthly wages. This is temporary disablement. Suppose in case employee dies due to accident while performing the duties during the course of the duty, during the course of employment. The compensation is 50% of the monthly wages multiplied by the relevant factor or an amount of 1,20,000 rupees, whichever is more. So this is the formula for calculation of compensation in death cases. So now we are having all these things: permanent total disablement, permanent partial disablement, temporary disablement, and death. So you see, what is the compensation will be that already I showed. So these numbers you will please keep it in mind. So in examination, this only they were asked, so that you can easily answer by remembering them. Wages means pay plus DA and other admissible allowances. So here wages means not only the basic pay plus DA and other admissible allowances also to be taken into consideration. Further, along with this act, in this act, there are 4 schedules are there. 4 schedules: Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, and Schedule 4. 4 schedules are there. Schedule 1, in Schedule 1, kinds of injuries and percentage of losses, loss of earning capacity are shown. Kinds of injuries and percentage of loss of earning capacity are shown. If you want, you can see in the Google, Schedule 1 of the Employees Compensation Act will open, then various types of injuries are shown in that. So what is the earning capacity? Percentage of earning capacity also indicated against each. So that is there in the Schedule 1. Whenever any claim comes before us, then we have to see what is the loss of earning capacity and what is the percentage of loss of earning capacity. We have to see. Accordingly, we have to calculate. In Schedule 2, workmen who are covered under this act are shown. Who are the persons are eligible for compensation under this act? That is shown in the Schedule 2. Who will come under this act for the benefit of compensation? It is shown in the Schedule 2. If you see the Schedule 3, kinds of occupational diseases are shown. Kinds of occupational diseases I told you. So occupational diseases, what type of occupational diseases are there? It is shown in the Schedule 3. If you read all these things, you can easily understand. All these things it is not possible because time is very short, and also it consumes more time also. So if you open the schedules, you can see that what are the occupational diseases. Many of the things we are well known about that. We know those diseases also. In Schedule 4, completed years of age of the workman at the time of injury and the relevant factor for calculation of compensation is shown. Here, the relevant factor for calculation of compensation, depending upon the age of the employee, is shown in the Schedule 4. We have to refer Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, and Schedule 4 to process any compensation claim. So these groups we have to see. So these are the very important points as far as the Employees Compensation Act is concerned. So basing on that, some multiple choice questions I have prepared. So it is very easy to answer them. I have given answers also. Whatever I told, based on that only. In examination, questions will come from this one. So there will not be any other question, in my opinion. If anybody has any doubt on this Employees Compensation Act, please ask me.
Sir, Schedule 3 क्या है? Occupational disease.
Yeah, Schedule 3. Schedule 3 is kinds of occupational diseases. Occupational diseases माने, suppose for example, हमारा diesel locomotive. Diesel locomotive. So उधर क्या होता है? Sometimes what will happen? ऑयल से काम करने काम पड़ता है, because डीजल ऑयल से काम करने काम पड़ता है एम्प्लॉयज को. वो डीजल ऑयल छीनने से उनको एक रकम का स्किन डिसीज आ जाता है. स्किन डिसीज मिलता है by inhaling the smell, वो डीजल का स्मेल को उनको एक स्किन डिसीज आ जाता है. That is called occupational disease. So जो नौकरी related जो काम कर
Anil Kumar ji, little bit you can mute now. The noise is coming now.
this occupation जो काम कर रहा है ना, वो काम को related केस है. Suppose for example you see ये वेल्डर है, वेल्डर वेल्डिंग काम करते रहता है कभी भी. वो वेल्डिंग काम करने से क्या होता है? उसका हाथ मार होता है. Whatever God gets applied after some, that is occupational disease. And some other diseases also there. Some people they may get asthma. Some people may get what is this is called various types of diseases will be coming. That बाहर तो नहीं दिखते. It will be there inside. It will be there inside because of that occupational disease. वो occupation करने से, वो काम करने से उनको वो diseases आते रहते हैं.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, Schedule 2, sir, also explain again.
Schedule 2, workmen who are covered under this act. ये act जिन लोगों को वो लागू होता है, वो लोगों का इधर बताया गया. लोगों में इधर
Draft लो.
designations as well as the nature of what they do, इधर Schedule 2 में बताया गया है. You please open and see. इसी में ऑफिस क्लर्क नहीं रहेगा, and this stenographers नहीं रहेंगे, PUs नहीं रहेंगे, और वैसे all these things are not there. अब हमारे रेलवे में तुम्हें देखे तो स्टेशन मास्टर is there. Station master he is eligible for the compensation, and guard is eligible for compensation whenever he makes he gets any injury while working. Similarly, the loco pilot also is eligible for that. Technicians are there, helpers are there, JEs, SSCs are there. All these people are eligible for compensation, but only a certain number of people they are not eligible for this compensation. वो सभी Schedule 2 में बताया गया है.
सर एम्प्लॉइज कंपनसेशन एक्ट और वर्कमैन कंपनसेशन एक्ट एक ही है या अलग है? दोनों को एक ही बोलते हैं?
नहीं, एक ही कॉम्पेंसेशन एक्ट वैसे हमें ऑफ नहीं बोलना है, कभी एम्प्लॉय कॉम्पेंसेशन एक्ट करके हमें बोलना है कभी भी।
अच्छा, एम्प्लॉइज कंपनसेशन एक्ट।
हाँ, एम्प्लॉइज there may be many compensations also there, land leases होते हैं, suppose we are एक बिल्डिंग बनाना चाहते हैं रेलवे और एक ट्रैक डालना चाहते हैं, अब क्या करते हैं दूसरे लोगों से लैंड खरीदते हैं स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, उनको कॉम्पेंसेशन दे रहे हैं, दैट कॉम्पेंसेशन इज डिफरेंट, ये एम्प्लॉइज कॉम्पेंसेशन है।
नहीं तो यहाँ पर वर्ड वर्क्समैन यूज नहीं होगा? वर्क्समैन
नहीं, इसी पहले वर्कमैन कॉम्पेंसेशन एक्ट का नाम था WCA था,
जी जी
WCA था, बाद में
जी
इसका नाम बदल गया है, अब एम्प्लॉइज कॉम्पेंसेशन एक्ट।
ठीक ठीक, ओके, धन्यवाद सर।
So these are all the objective multiple choice questions. You please go through. It is very much useful to you. Then coming to the minimum wages act. This is also one of the labor laws. Labor laws में minimum wages act है आ जाए. What is the minimum wages act? This act has come in 1948. It has come in 1948. What is the aim of this act? इसीलिए minimum wages act बनाया गया है. What is the aim of this act? The main aim of this act is securing minimum rate of wages in those categories of employment where wages are low in order to prevent exploitation of unorganized labor. So unorganized labor है, so because उनका नंबर बहुत छोटा रहेगा, unorganized labor इनका तो बड़ा नंबर नहीं रहेगा, so वैसे unorganized labor को minimum wages फिक्स करता है गवर्नमेंट, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, they will be fixing the wages. So that whether it is properly implemented or not, kaisa wages fix karna hai, all these things this minimum wages act will tell. So according to this act, minimum wages are to be paid to the labor who are working in the unorganized sector. It also lays down the procedure for regulating the hours of work and ensures the prompt payment of wages, including overtime, and specifies the deductions that can be made from the wages of the worker. This is also very, very important. It also lays down the procedure for regulating the hours of work. How many hours that person has to work, because it is unorganized sector. Unorganized sector में उनका नंबर कम रहेगा, उनका ज़्यादा प्रेस नहीं कर सकते एम्प्लॉयर से. So इसीलिए according to this act, how many hours these people should work, their services can be taken. ये act बोलता है. Suppose the employer is not following that, he will be punished. So this regulates the hours of work, कितने घंटे काम करना है पर डे, and ensures a prompt payment. Payment also prompt payment रहना है. Prompt payment means regularly same intervals में payment करना है. Compulsory that payment should be done. And overtime also should be paid. Suppose the employee is asked to do overtime, for overtime also certain extra remuneration should be given to the person. And it specifies the deduction that can be made. So what are the deduction can be made from the wages? That is also shown in the Minimum Wages Act for unorganized sector labor के लिए. This act applies on railways to workmen who are employed on road construction, building operations, maintenance of roads, buildings, bridges, canals, etc. हमारा रेलवे में this road construction, जो road construct कर रहे हैं ना लेबर, उनको अप्लाई होगा. Normally railway will not go for the constructing of the roads. We will give to the contractor. The contractor will do this work. So he will engage some workers to work for the railways. So those people, whether this contractor is properly paying to them as per minimum wages or not, that we have to see, because we are paying the money. Our money contractor is giving to the labor. We are giving money through contractor. So we have to see whether the contractor is spending that money, who is following that money. Whether the contractor is following that money, वो हम देखना है. So that we have to see. And building operations, which building operations है. अब हम nowadays we are seeing in every office or everywhere, sweepers and other people are there. They are all outsourcing. So contractor को बोल रहे हैं outsourcing लेके काम करने लगा रहे हैं. Whether these people are getting correct salary as per Payment of Wages Act or not, that we have to see. Maintenance of roads, buildings, bridges, canals, etc. And in stone breaking and stone crushing. Stone breaking and stone crushing. You know track देखे ना रेलवे ट्रैक में stones रहेंगे. वो stones हम क्या है कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हम परचेस करेंगे. हम कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को बोलेंगे वो stone crush करके हमको सप्लाई करो. So for cutting the stone, he will engage the workers. So he is properly paying the wages to the workers or not, that we have to see. in loading unloading in goods shed and as pitch cleaning. So loading unloading चलते रहता है goods sheds में. तो goods shed में loading unloading वो unorganized sector के workers रहेंगे. The contractor who is getting the work from them, whether he is properly paying the wages to them or not, that we have to see. And casual labor employed in permanent way. Sometimes we engage some casual labor also in permanent way. Nowadays we are not engaging any casual labor. The casual labor system has gone. In such cases also, that is applied. The Act does not apply to the railway employees working in pay scales recommended by the commissions and governed by the hours of employment regulation. This Act does not apply to the railway employees working in the pay scales recommended by the pay commission. तो पे कमीशन रेकमेंड केस और पे स्केल्स में जो एम्प्लॉई काम कर रहा है रेलवे एम्प्लॉई उनको ये एक्ट नहीं अप्लाई होगा एंड गवर्नमेंट बाय द HOER SWPR गवर्नमेंट बाय द SWPR उनको भी एक्ट नहीं अप्लाई होगा. The main provisions of the act are like this. It provides a fixing minimum wages where there is a great change of exploitation of labor. So minimum wages fix कर देते हैं. So per day 500 rupees means 500 rupees देना है. Per day 700 means 700 देना है. So whether they work for full day or any part of the day, that much of amount should be paid to the labor. It fixes minimum wages by taking into account the cost of living. How the government will fix the wages, taking the cost of living of that particular area, the wages will be fixed. Employer should fix the wage period for payment of wages at intervals not exceeding 1 month or such other larger period as may be fixed. So employer should fix the wage period and he should pay the wages as per the fixed wage day. Wages should be paid on working day only within 7 days at the end of the wage period. So already I told you in the previous act also, the wages should be paid within 7 days after the wage period. If the workers are less than 1,000, if the workers are more than 1,000, it can be paid before 10th day after the wage period. Wages of discharged employees should be paid within 2 days. This is also I told you in the previous act. Same rule applicable here also. Within 2 days, suppose any employees, any workers' employment is terminated, then whatever amount is due to him, that is to be paid within 2 days. Retrenchment compensation should be paid on the date of retrenchment. Retrenchment, we going on every work is not there, we are retrenching the labor, so we say whatever compensation we are paying, that should be paid within the given time, without pay. Dues authorized by the Act only should be deducted from wages. So wages only authorized deductions can be made. Payslip should be issued to the worker at least 1 day before the disbursement of the wages. Payslip be issued करना है worker. So how many days he has worked, how many days he has absented, how much amount he is getting. All those should be indicated in the payslip, and the payslip should be given to the worker by the employer. At least 1 day before. Well in advance he can give 1 week before, 10 days before he can give, but at least 1 day before he should give. Daily working hours are 9 with the provision of intervals. So daily 9 hours only these people should work with the provision of intervals. Week means the intervals is देते जाना है. Spread over should not be 12 hours. Spread over means the maximum working hours in a day should not go beyond 12 hours. Maximum 12 hours. That too in rare cases, not regular. After every 7 days of working, there should be a 1 day rest with the wages. After every 7 days of the working, 1 day rest should be given. That rest day also the employee is eligible for wages. Because on rest day you are not working today. That's why we will not give any wages like that. The employer should not tell. On rest day also wages should be given. For rest day also wages should be given to that worker. If worker on rest day, suppose the worker has worked on the rest day, overtime payment should be given for that day, and the rest should be given within 3 days thereafter. Same. So suppose on rest day the employee is asked to work, it means he has worked on the rest. So that rest should be given within next 3 days to the employee. Or for the rest day also overtime also should be given. On rest day he is getting certain number of wages he is getting. In addition to that, overtime and pay also should be given to him. Overtime should be given if worked more than 9 hours a day or 48 hours in a day. Suppose any worker works for more than 9 hours in a day or more than 48 hours in a week, then overtime allowance should be given to him. Overtime pay should be given to this person. So these are the main provisions of this Payment of Wages Act. Minimum Wages Act. So,
retrenchment compensation, please.
Retrenchment compensation में suppose we engaged a labor, so काम चलता है. Sometimes what will happen, काम चलने में हमको material आना है, raw material आना है. Raw material आने के बाद हम काम करेंगे फैक्ट्री में. So for example, due to some reason raw material has not come. जब क्या होगा, हमको लेबर को तो काम नहीं दे सकेंगे. Is it not? लेबर को काम में ले तो काम नहीं रहेगा, लेकिन उनको वेजेस देने का काम पड़ेगा. जब हम क्या उनको रिट्रेंच करते हैं काम से निकल जाते हैं. Temporarily we can stop them. We stop them from working. So then for stopping them from working, we have to pay certain compensation also as per this act. That compensation we have to pay to the employee immediately after his retrenchment. On the day of the retrenchment or the next day of the retrenchment, certain compensation should be given to you because he has to go in search of some other employment. Na? He has to go for some other in search of some employment. Immediately employment नहीं मिलेगा उसे, एक दो तीन दिन उधर इधर घूमने पर employment मिलेगा. So this retrenchment compensation should be given to him. So that is called retrenchment compensation.
जी, thank you, sir.
So these are the various multiple choice questions prepared here. You please go through that. You can easily understand. Next, a very important act is there, that is Industrial Dispute Act. Industrial Dispute Act. Industrial Dispute Act means a dispute चलते रहेगा, employee को employers को कभी भी नहीं dispute चलते रहेगा, one issue or other issue पर dispute रहेगा. Dispute means it is employee कुछ पूछेगा, employer बोलेगा नहीं दूंगा, then bargaining चलेगा, उन्हें इतना पूछेगा, employer बोलेगा नहीं मैं इतना दूंगा. So this dispute will be there. So ये dispute settle करने के लिए employer and employer के बीच में dispute settle करने के लिए एक act बनाया गया है by the central government, that is called Industrial Dispute Act. ID Act is called. It has come into effect in 1947. Now many modifications subsequently have come. Let us see what are the provisions available in this Industrial Dispute Act. The aim of this act to avoid strikes, lockout, layoff, and retrenchment in any industry by settling the disputes. So the main aim of this act is to avoid strike. Strike नहीं रहना. Factory में और industry में strike नहीं रहना है. कुछ strike नहीं आने के पहले that dispute can be settled. They can sit, they can discuss, they can settle instead of going for the strike. Strike करने में क्या होगा? Strike करने में काम रुक जाएगा, production कम हो जाएगा, and everybody will be at loss. Employees are at loss, employer also at loss. So इसीलिए to avoid strike, lockout, layoff, and retrenchment in any industry by settling this dispute. Dispute between worker, workman and employer. Workman and employer के बीच में dispute से settle करने के through process of conciliation, through the process of conciliation and mediation and adjudication. तो बैठ के बात करके settle करने के लिए. This act applies to workmen employed in any industry to do any manual, unskilled, skilled, operational, clerical or supervisory work for remuneration. So this act is applicable to all the people. Clerical cadre को apply होगा, supervisors को apply होगा, skilled, unskilled वालों को apply होगा, operational work करने वालों को भी apply होगा. Operation में machine चलाने वाले, so उनको भी apply होगा. This act does not apply to those working in the managerial capacity or administrative capacity. Managerial capacity and administrative capacity में काम करने वालों को ये Industrial Dispute Act is not applicable. And persons employed in Army, Navy, Air Force and Police, ये डिपार्टमेंट में काम करने वालों को भी Industrial Dispute Act is not applicable. These people should not go for any such confrontation. Those who are working in the Army, Navy, Air Force and Police. Let us see strike. Strike माने क्या है? What is the strike? Strike means cessation of work by the workman. Cessation means बाहर आने का. So काम छोड़ के बाहर आने का. Strike means cessation of work by the workman. No workman shall go on strike during the pendency of the conciliation proceedings before the board. As per this act, no workman should go on strike during the pendency of the conciliation proceedings before the board. कुछ matter before conciliation board के पास है discussion के लिए, settlement के लिए. During that period, no employee should go for strike. When the matter is for settlement before the board, conciliation board, so the people should not go for the strike. During 7 days after the conclusion of the conciliation proceeding. Suppose conciliation proceedings है, conciliation proceedings के मुताबिक finally an agreement has come, a decision has come. So that decision may be acceptable to certain type of employees, certain category of employees, or may not acceptable to them. So such employees should not go for strike within 7 days of the final decision. So 7 दिन होने के बाद they can go for the strike, but within 7 days of that decision, they should not go for the strike as per this act. If they go for the strike, it is called illegal strike. Illegal strike करने के बारे में क्या होता है? Employee can be dismissed from service without any notice. He can be dismissed from service during the pendency of the proceedings before the labor court or tribunal. Suppose any issue, any dispute of the employee and employer is before labor court or tribunal, then also nobody should go for strike. No employee should go for the strike. And they should not go for strike within 2 months after the final orders of the labor court or tribunal. Suppose labor court or tribunal, it has given final order on the dispute. So वो dispute some लोगों को पसंद नहीं रहेगा. So such people should not go for strike immediately within 2 months. After 2 months, they can go for the strike if at all they want. So they should not go within these 2 months. During 2 months after the conclusion of the proceedings before the arbitrator. Arbitrator is mediator. He appointed by the government. This arbitrator, he may hear the case, he may hear the dispute, he may hear the both the parties, and he will give his award. Our arbitrator का order को क्या बोलते हैं? हमें award बोलते हैं. वो award आने के बाद, वो whenever the matter is before the arbitrator, these people should not go for strike. Similarly, when the arbitrator has given his award, then also these people should not go for strike when that arbitration award is in implementation, in operation. They should not go for the strike. So, if anybody goes for the strike during these periods, that is called illegal strike, and if necessary action can be taken to terminate their services. And no person employed in public utility service shall go on strike. Public utility services. Public utility services में no employee should go on strike without giving 6 weeks notice period to the employee. So first of all, देखेंगे कि what is the public utility sector क्या है? Public utility service क्या है? Any railway service comes under the public utility service for carrying goods and passengers. It comes under public utility service. Public के लिए, public का utilization के लिए ये service कर रहे हैं. Any service in major ports and docks. Any service in major ports and docks. Major ports means हम क्या बोलते हैं? Ports, you know, I mean not again the ports and the docks में काम करने वालों को नहीं. Then any postal, telegraph or telephone services करने वालों को they come under the public utility services. Any industry which supplies power, light and water to the public, that also comes under the public utility section. Any system of public conservancy and sanitation, पानी पीने का पानी छूने के लिए या sanitation का पानी clean करने के लिए ये जो लोग काम कर रहे हैं ना, that also that service will come under the public utility service. Any other industry specified in the schedule 1 of the schedule 1 of the Act की एक schedule है, तो schedule 1 में many industries are shown. Such industries come under the public utility service. So employees who are working in these public utility services, they should not go for strike without doing the following the things. They should not go for the strike without observing the following. What are the? Without giving 6 weeks notice to the employer. So they want to go for the strike on any issue means they have to give a notice to the employer 6 weeks before. 6 weeks before a notice देना है. तो notice में सबसे स्ट्राइक में जाना चाहते हैं वो डेट भी they have to indicate in that notice. Within 14 days of giving such limit. So 6 week का notice दे रहे हैं. 6 weeks के बाद very next day they should not go for the strike. 6 weeks होने के बाद 14 days gap देके स्ट्राइक में जाना है. Suppose जनवरी में स्ट्राइक नोटिस इश्यू कर रहे हैं. जनवरी 1 में स्ट्राइक नोटिस इश्यू कर रहे हैं. 6 weeks बिफोर. 6 weeks में कभी आ जाएगा? February middle of the February आएगा. जनवरी में 4 weeks and February में 2 weeks. So 6 weeks means 15th February we'll see. तो 6 weeks हो जाएगा. Then they should not go from 16th day on strike. They have to wait for 14 days thereafter. After that only they have to go for the strike. Again 2 weeks they have to wait. Then they have to go for the strike. Before expiry of the date of strike specified in the notice. Suppose if the person in the strike notice they have mentioned a particular date. Sir, हमें 15th March से strike पे जाना चाहते हैं. That they have given in the strike notice on 1st January. But 15th March that they have to wait. Before 15th March they should not go for the strike. It is called illegal strike. Then it is called illegal strike. during pendency of any conciliation proceeding, कुछ proceedings conciliation officer के सामने pending है for discussion के लिए, for final decision के लिए, during that period they should not go for the strike. During 7 days after the conclusion of the conciliation proceedings. Conciliation proceedings होने के बाद after 7 days only they can go for the strike. If they go for the strike within that 7 days, it is called illegal strike and action can be taken against the employees who have participated in the strike. That is in regard to public utility services. Earlier I told you strike होने के बाद lockout and lock off करके बंद होता है, lay off करके बोला. What is this lockout? Lockout means the temporary closing of the place of the employment or the suspension of the work or refusal by the employer to continue to employ any number of persons employed. So ये क्या होता है lockout? Employee strike करके ड्यूटी को नहीं आएगा, लेकिन sometimes employee himself will close the gates. Employer himself will close the gate. He will not do the work to the employees. That is called lockout. Lockout means management will close the work. Strike means employee will not do the work. Lockout means management itself will stop working. They stop they stop production. So that is called lockout. Lockout means the temporary closing of the place of employment or the suspension of the work or refusal by the employer to continue to employ any number of persons employed. That is called lockout. So strike इनके तरफ से चलेगा, lockout management के तरफ से चलेगा और employer की तरफ से चलेगा. Layoff means not giving work to the worker by the employer due to shortage of coal, power and material, raw material, accumulation of stock, breakdown of machinery, natural calamity, etc. Sometimes क्या होता है, employer he may stop the work. For what purpose? When shortage of coal is there, power is there, raw material is there. So when coal is not there, machine तो नहीं चलेगा. And power is not, electricity is not there, machine नहीं चलेगा. Raw material is not there to manufacture, then he cannot produce anything. So then क्या करता है, lay off कर रहा है. So he is not terminating the services for anybody. He is ready to start the industry, but he is not in a position to do that because of the coal is not there, or power is not there, or raw material is not there. And accumulation of the stock. Accumulation of the stock means already he has produced the goods. वो market में he has to go and sell it, but purchase करने वाला कोई भी नहीं. लेकिन stock accumulate हो गया. So unless this stock is clear, he cannot go for producing new stock. So that's why what he will do. Till such time this entire stock is clear, he will not go for producing the goods. So do the layoff करता है. He will lay off the work. He will not do the work. He will not start the industry. Then breakdown of machine. Suppose कुछ machine में भारी खराबी आ गई, some दिक्कत आ जाए. So till such time it is repaired, he cannot go for the work. He cannot start the work. He cannot engage anybody. He cannot give any work to any worker because machines themselves are not there. They are under repair. So during that period, it is called layoff. Natural calamity. Suppose any flood आ गया, earthquake आ गया, all these things are there. So then also the employer may not be in a position to run the factory. So that is then he can lay off. हो जाएगा. So that is called. So strike, lockout and layoff. These are the three important things in the Industrial Dispute Act. Retrenchment. Retrenchment means termination of services of a worker by the employer for any reason other than as disciplinary action, voluntary retirement, superannuation, continuous ill health, and non-renewal of contract. See, इसमें superannuation is there. An employee who attains the age of 60 years or 58 years, according to their rules, they have to retire from service. They cannot be continuing service beyond that. हमारे रेलवे में तो 60 years है, central government employees. Some factories में, some industries में, it may be less than that also. So some people may go. Some people may take voluntary treatment and go. The voluntary treatment scheme is there, and some people disciplinary action लेने का काम पड़ेगा. Suppose he has done कुछ माल चोरी करके लेकर गया, पकड़ा गया. So disciplinary action will be taken and his services can be terminated. All these things will come under that. But other than this, retrenchment also will be there. That retrenchment means due to the employer is not in a position to give employment to all the people. He wants to terminate services of some people because he doesn't want to give the work from some people because there is no scope for him to do work for them. हम तो IT industry में देखते रहेंगे. Sometimes what will happen? People they don't have the work, so they will be sitting on the bench. They call it is bench. So he will not he will not be in a position to do the work to them. So whenever any work comes, then he will call them and do the work. That is called retrenchment. This act provides the following machinery for settling the dispute between the worker and employer. Any dispute has come between the worker and employer, how they have to go about it? Straight away they have to go for strike? No, straight away they cannot go for the strike. So before them, certain things are there. All those things they have to adjust, then only they have to go for the strike. Before that, they cannot go for the strike. What are those are available? Works committees. In every industry, there will be a works committee as per this act. As per this act, Industrial Dispute Act, every industry, they should have a works committee, a committee level. The works committee are set up where 100 or more workers are employed on any day in the preceding 12 months. Previous 12 months, on any day, more than 100 workers have worked means in such factories, in such industries, works committees should be formed. The employer should set up the works committee consisting of equal number of representatives from the workman side as well as management side. This works committee consists of members, equal number of members, both from the management side as well as from the worker side. So they will sit and they will discuss the issue and they will come to some conclusion, amicable conclusion, and then accordingly decision will be taken for the benefit of the workers. This committee promotes good industrial relation between the workman and employer. Kabhi there should not be any dispute between the workman and employer. It is not good for the industry. It is not a healthy industry. It is not called healthy industry. Workman and employer. So workman may be asking, demanding something, and employer may be in position to fulfill their demands to a certain extent, not all. Sometimes he may not be in a position to fulfill any of the demands. So they can sit together and they can discuss and they can complete conclusion. Next, another thing is conciliation officer. Conciliation officer, this will be appointed by the government. A works committee, the employer himself, the owner of the factory, the owner of the industry himself can form it by taking equal number of people from both the sides. But conciliation officer, it is by the government. Government conciliation. Suppose any dispute is there in the industry's management can request the government to appoint a conciliation officer to settle the dispute in the factory. So he can ask. So the conciliation officer will be appointed by the appropriate government. Appropriate government means either it is a state government or it is a central government. The matter pertains to state government will appoint. If the matter pertains to central government, the central government will appoint. The conciliation officer's duty is mediating and promoting settlement of industrial dispute rising between the workman and employer. He has to mediate. दोनों के बीच में mediation करना है. Then he has to settle the dispute. The conciliation officer's job is he has to mediate between these two people. He is a neutral person. He will hear from these people. He will hear from that people, and he will try to convince these people. He will try to convince those people also, both management as well as workers, and he will try to settle the issue. That is called conciliation. Sometimes board of conciliation also will be there. A big industry is there. More number of employees are working. So there, one conciliation officer is not sufficient. The board of conciliation officer is required. There, the board of conciliation officer also will be appointed by the government at the request of this industry. Suppose sometimes what will happen on private industry, in the government also will be having the shares. Then in that industry, workers and employees will dispute out. In such cases, also the conciliation officers will be appointed by the government. The board of conciliation officers is appointed by the appropriate government. The duty of the board is promoting settlement of industrial disputes. The board shall consist of one chairman. Board में कौन रहेगा? एक chairman रहेगा, and 4 members will be there. Chairman is an independent person, and the 2 members from the management and 2 members from the board side will be there. The board of conciliation में एक independent person nominated by the government will be there as a chairman, and other 4 members will be there, 2 from management side and 2 from the worker side. These people at this board, they may go through the dispute, they may give their recommendations for settling the dispute. Court of inquiry. Another thing is the court of inquiry is there. The court of inquiry is appointed by the appropriate government to inquire into the matter connected with or related to the industrial dispute. Court of inquiry. Sometimes what will happen? In conciliation officer, board of conciliation officers are not in a position to settle the issue. Then court of inquiry will be appointed by the government to settle the issue. The court consists of 1 or more independent persons. The court may one or two persons, independent persons will be there. If two or more persons are there, one of them shall be the chairman. इसमें क्या होता है? Only judges will be there, because judges will be there as a court of inquiry. So the matter will be referred to them. They can go through the dispute. They can discuss with both the parties, and then they will do their decision. So like that, the dispute can be settled amicably. After that, labor courts are there. Labor courts are also there. For many dispute as there, certain disputes which cannot be referred to the court of inquiry or conciliation officer or something. So straight away they can go to the court, labor court. Labor courts are constituted by the appropriate government for adjudication of the industrial dispute relating to the following matters. What labor court will see? Propriety or legality of any order passed by the employer. Suppose the employer has passed some order which is affecting the employees, it is not liked by the employees. Then labor court will case file. The labor court will see what is the propriety, what is the properness in this order, properness I can order, and legality I can, that will be seen by the labor court. And interpretation and applicability of the standing orders. Which any order management has passed here, how to interpret that order and how to apply to the employees or employee services, that also court will see. Legality in discharge and termination of services of the worker. Suppose any workers' services are terminated by the management, then that worker can go to the labor court. The labor court will see whether any legality is there in discharge or termination of this person's service. They need to do the order. Illegality, grant of relief on such discharge or termination. Suppose in case the termination is in order, then what is the termination? Retrenchment benefit should be given to the employee. That also will be decided by the court. Illegality in strikes and lockouts. So lockouts and strikes, capital legality and illegality, that also will be decided by the labor court. Any other matter related to the industry. So all these things the labor court will see. So when the matter between when the dispute has come between the employee and employer, instead of going for strike directly, they can take shelter under these. They can take help of these machineries and they can settle the industrial disputes. Then tribunals also there. These tribunals are constituted by the appropriate government for adjudication of industrial disputes and matters concerning wages, wage period, mode of payment, compensatory and other allowances, house rent, and intervals in duty working hours, bonus, profit sharing, holidays, leave with wages. All these things will be seen by the tribunals. So purely service matters. दूसरा सब्जेक्ट नहीं देखेगा. ट्रिब्यूनल्स क्या देखेगा? ओनली अटेंड टू द वेजेस, वेज पीरियड, मोड ऑफ पेमेंट, कुछ अलाउंसेस देना है, हाउस रेंट कुछ देना है, और डेली वर्किंग आवर्स में इंटरवल्स कुछ देना है, कितना आवर्स काम करना है, एंड बोनस कुछ देना है, और हॉलिडेज कैसा देना है. ऑल दिस थिंग्स विल बी सीन बाय द ट्रिब्यूनल्स. सो लेबर कोर्ट का जॉब इज डिफरेंट एंड ट्रिब्यूनल्स जॉब इज डिफरेंट. So then national tribunals. National tribunals means where the industry is situated in two different states. Same industry is having its production units at two different states. Then कुछ two different states में है इससे, so no state government will form it because two state governments cannot form the conciliation, cannot appoint any conciliation officers, or they cannot appoint any. So that's why in such cases it will go to the central tribunals. That is called national tribunals. So these are the various channels available to the employees as well as employer to settle the disputes between them. Illegal strike. What is illegal strike means whatever I told you earlier. If they are not followed, they are called illegal strike, and serious action will be taken against the people who have gone for the strike. Illegal strike, without following prescribed norms and procedures, any person or group of person enters into a strike, which is called illegal strike. So say illegal strike. Penalty for illegal strike is like this. Suppose anybody goes for the illegal strike, 2 years imprisonment and fine will be imposed as per this act. Anybody instigates go for the strike. Suppose somebody is telling that jao strike karo, somebody will be telling. So when say instigate case over 6 months imprisonment and fine also will be imposed under this and as per this act. Suppose anybody is giving financial aid for illegal strike, for them 6 months imprisonment and fine will be imposed. Similarly, penalty for breach of settlement of award. So any award has come or any settlement has come that is not implemented, then 6 months imprisonment and fine will be imposed according to this act. So a lot of safeguard has been provided under Industrial Dispute Act to settle the dispute between the employees as well as the employer, and what are the various punishments if anybody is not adhering to these rules that are also mentioned in this. So this is all about the Industrial Dispute Act. Lot of many disputes are there, many Supreme Court judgments are there on various types of industrial disputes. Many judgments are there. For examination point of view, to understand basically this is sufficient. So under this, I have prepared some multiple choice questions on the Dispute Act, Industrial Dispute Act. You please go through that. Whatever I told you, the same thing I converted into the MCQs, multiple choice question like that. You please read that, you can understand. It is really easy for you to answer the questions in the examination. With this, I am concluding my today's lecture. So today we have covered 5 labor laws, important 5 labor laws. Other labor laws also there. Today I have covered 5 important labor laws. Another 2 or 3 important other labor laws also there. Because time is not there, that's why I have not prepared for that. So 5 labor laws. One is Minimum Wages Act. Tell me, what are those things? Payment of Wages Act, Workmen Compensation Act, that is Employees Compensation Act, Industrial Dispute Acts, all these things, all these 5 acts I have covered. If you got any doubt on the Industrial Dispute Act, you please ask me. I will clarify and conclude it.
So no further doubts, sir. Shall we wind up the class?
Yeah. So no one has asked for any doubt on this, so we can wind up the class.
On behalf of IRIFM-II, I thank Shri Nagaraja Rao, Deputy CPO, South Central Railway, for taking up the session on labor laws. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Tomorrow we have session at 3 o'clock. Thank you. Thank you all.